food bank, it would be difficult.
Local food banks open their doors all year long to families in need, but what happens when the shelves are empty? Good morning, I'm Shannon Smith. Thanks for getting your Thanksgiving started with us. We'll get to your news in just a minute. First, though, a quick check-in with Brad and Cindy. They're out at Country Park in Greensboro getting ready for the Greensboro Gobbler 5K. We're going to check in with them in a few minutes. You guys try to stay warm. We're going to check in with Tom to see how the weather is this morning.
Yeah, we can actually see Brad and Cindy, but here's the view in Greensboro where you can't see nothing out there. It's a dense fog, and we're under a dense fog advisory until 9 o'clock this morning. Our temperatures, it's also cold and foggy. 40 degrees currently at PTI, 40 in Burlington, 43 Reidsville, 41 Winston-Salem, 41 High Point. Eventually, this fog will burn off. The race will be run. The high today, about 62 degrees.
Before we get to our news this half hour, we're checking in with Brad and Cindy again. They're out at Country Park in Greensboro, anxious to make their way to the finish line. Good morning, guys.
Good morning.
Can you see us? Because it's awful foggy out here.
I can see you. Is it really cold out there as well?
I just checked the thermometer in my car, 42 degrees, and
Quite
sometimes
chilly.
they're off a little 1 degree or the other, but it's brisk.
Yes, very much so. My extremities are going to fall off.
Are people starting to arrive out there?
Yeah, actually on the other side of the camera here, we've got a lot of cars, not a lot of cars, we got a number of them that have already started pulling in where they're getting a table set up and things like that, getting things started pretty early.
Got lots of folks out here helping to get things set up. Actually, in about 30 minutes, a little less than 30 minutes, is when folks can start coming in and getting their packets if they didn't pick them up yesterday. Plus, they get their timing chips, those little chips that are going to tell us what time, what our time was.
It's all electronic, and so once again, a lot of people starting to come out here and get things going. It's a big event, though. A lot of people kind of start their big day with this and bring the family out, so it's going to be a lot of hubbub as the morning goes on.
Well, did you see the guy? There was a guy that actually had his dog here and was running. He took off down the trail there.
Well,
yeah,
we're going to talk strategy and more coming up in just a little bit, so hang out for me. I'm going to check back in with you in about 15 minutes.
Okay.
Meanwhile, in the news this morning, it's an uncertain Thanksgiving for many U.S. troops today. Tens of thousands of them could soon be on their way to Afghanistan as part of the president's new strategy there. Doug Luzader has more this morning from Washington.
The official announcement to send more troops to Afghanistan is still days away, but this news is quickly sinking in as families prepare for more sacrifice.
That's good.
It was an early Thanksgiving for these soldiers in Texas as they prepare to deploy. For them and their families, there are plenty of questions this year, and from President Obama in his weekly address, an acknowledgement of the ongoing costs of war.
We keep in our thoughts and prayers the many families marking this Thanksgiving with an empty seat, saved for a son or daughter, a husband or a wife stationed in harm's way.
And there will soon be more of them in harm's way in Afghanistan. Even as the president went through the rituals of Thanksgiving, pardoning a turkey at the White House, he is preparing for a critical speech on Tuesday, outlining a plan that could send some 30,000 reinforcements into Afghanistan.
This speech is absolutely critical, not only to make the case for the American people, but also to make the case for soldiers and their families. It's coming right after the Thanksgiving holiday, and particularly the families of soldiers are skeptical.
And the public is skeptical as well. White House officials say the president will not only make the case to send in more troops, he'll also talk about an exit strategy.
Americans respond very well when a commander-in-chief explains why something needs to be done and appears to match the resources to the importance of the problem.
A problem without a clear solution, and for many this year, an uneasy holiday. The president will make his public case for more troops on Tuesday night, speaking from the U.S. Military Academy at West Point. But just before that, he's also going to meet with a number of lawmakers, many of whom are going to have some tough questions. In Washington, Doug Luzader, Fox News.
A year ago today, terrorists went on a massacre in Mumbai, India. 166 people died when 10 gunmen went on a rampage. The killers started a fire at the Taj Mahal Hotel. Yesterday, a crowd gathered for a vigil to remember the victims. It was held at the Jewish Center where 6 people were killed, including a rabbi and his pregnant wife.
We will
will never let terrorism win. We will always continue with our lives. Yes, with tears in our eyes. Yes, it's not going to be easy because we do have heavy heart. We lost so many dear friends, but we will never let terrorism win.
7 men have been indicted for the deadly killings. Investigators say a terror group based in Pakistan called Lashkar-e-Taiba planned the attack. More news now into the tragic disappearance of the 5-year-old little girl from Fayetteville. Police are now forming a special task force of about 20 people to work on the investigation. Officers say Shania Davis was raped and strangled to death 2 weeks ago. Officers say Mario McNeil kidnapped the little girl from her home. Her body was found in a wooded area days later. The girl's mother, Antoinette Davis, is charged with human trafficking and felony child abuse involving prostitution. An unexpected discovery for parents of more than 100 children in Eden. They learned this week that the kids' child care service is closing until further notice. According to the News and Record, it's because of water damage at the Moorhead Academy Child Development Center. The state says that damage has made the building unsafe for kids. So Moorhead Memorial Hospital, which runs the center, had to close it. The paper says the hospital is looking for an alternative site, but in the meantime, the kids will have to find another place for daycare. A health alert for you this morning. U.S. officials are tracking side effects of the H1N1 vaccine, but if you're worried, reports say the side effects are minor so far. Meanwhile, doctors say people who do get the H1N1 virus will temporarily have a weakened immune system, and as a result, people are coming down with pneumonia. Health officials are also concerned by another development. H1N1 virus appears to be mutating. That's happened in 8 people in China. Those people are responding well to other treatments. The economy is taking a toll on area shelters and food pantries. The Fair Grove Family Resource Center in Thomasville is just one of dozens of small food banks across the Piedmont in desperate need of help. Donations are down while the need is up. The director says many people who once donated now need help. In fact, 40 new families ask for assistance from Thomasville each month.
Sometimes we're suffering more than those in the urban areas because people don't have even the transportation to get out of this county to get another job.
In Lexington at Crisis Ministries of Davidson County, the food pantry shelves are bare as well, and the shelter is full for the first time since it opened in 1981. A lot of people are under a mountain of debt, but for one Long Island couple, a mountain is an understatement. They owed a California bank $500,000, and on this Thanksgiving, Greg and Diana Horowski are thanking a judge. He cleared them entirely of their mortgage debt. The judge says One West Bank refused to negotiate a lower interest payment even though the couple couldn't afford to pay anything but the interest. And like most people in similar situations, the couple's daughter says his parents didn't do anything wrong, they just could not afford the rates.
It wasn't like my parents were just deadbeats. So I'm happy that the judge finally said that poor business practices won't be condoned.
As you can imagine, the bank is expected to appeal the decision.
Good for them. Oh man, you love it when the little guy wins something. Take a look here. This is Winston-Salem. Gosh, is that fog? I believe it is. Dense fog advisory until 9 o'clock this morning. And we're not kidding. This fog is incredibly thick out there.